Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hello everyone, welcome to the series which we were discussing today is Signages and Wayfinding. So we have completed our lesson 1. So now we will be going to the next chapter which is Signages and Wayfinding Tools. My name is Sneh. I am Associate Professor at Manipal University, Jaipur. So let's begin. Today we will be covering few of the list of the topics which will include urban navigation, integrating wayfinding systems and environmental design in Indian cities, role of technology, principles of wayfinding, signage effectiveness in visibility, legibility, readability and conspicuity items, signages and wayfinding in colors, color contrast and finishes, color selections in safety signages, and signage typography. Okay, so let's take a quick revision what we have studied, what you have gone through in the last lecture. So we have studied few of the topics which is we explored the art and science behind guiding people through spaces and signages and wayfinding techniques. We also understand how signage play a critical role in helping individuals in navigating and finding their way in different environment. We also delve in Miller's model of discussing how information, the user and the environment integrate together and connect for the wayfinding process. We discovered the word of environmental graphic design, the discipline blending design and information in creating visibly effective and informating environment. We also covers the root of environmental graphic design, tracing its historical development and early applications. We explored how environmental graphic design has evolved over time, adapting to changing design trends and technological advancement. We examined how navigation is connected to the various fields from cognitive sciences to architecture, influencing the designs of the space. We delve in the theories of prominent figures like Kevin Lynch, J.J. Gibson, Arthur and Pessini, unveiling the hidden logic that shapes our understanding of effective wayfinding in diverse environment. So let's begin with first topic, which is the tools. The wayfinding system plays a pivotal role in facilitating navigation and enriching the urban experience in urban cities. Similar to the word well-planned cities, where these systems promote ease of movement and reflect the city's culture and visibility. Indian urban centers can benefit with well-designed wayfinding initiatives tailored in this unique characteristics. For instance, in the city of Delhi, or let's take a city of Kolkata, where historical landmarks around wayfinding tools incorporate iconic architectural features as navigation clues. Signage abundant with this image of heritage site or traditional motifs guide both local and tourists through the city rich cultural landscape. Additionally, considering the historical in linguistic diversity, multi-language signage is essential to ensure accessibility of all the residents and visitors. Clear and concise language coupled with the universally recognized symbols further enhance readability and comprehension, making navigation effortless for everyone. Integrating the wayfinding system with environment graphic design not only facilitate navigation but also contribute to the broader concept of placemaking in Indian cities. By incorporating pedestrian and vehicular signages, cities like Delhi and Kolkata not only helps residents but visitors to navigate their surroundings, but also establishes a sense of identity which belongs to the city. Environmental graphic design emphasizes signages and wayfinding. The pedestrian and vehicular signages help in navigating the surroundings. Finding our way isn't enough. Placemaking is creating a city's identity and belonging. Placemaking goes beyond navigation. It's about using landscaping, street furnitures, architectures, public arts to improve a place. These elements guide you and give you a city, a district, its charm. In addition to physical tools like signages and placemaking features, trained staff, visitor center, and orientation maps also play a vital role in assisting travelers, and in the absence of proper signages, shopkeepers or even the porters often step to provide directions and guidance. As we explore the world, let's remember how wayfinding signages shape our urban experience, leaving lasting impressions of the city. Now, let's go into the technology part of it. In addition to the physical tools like signages and placemaking features, technology plays a significant role in modern wayfindings. Today's digital age, the role of technology in modern wayfinding cannot be overstated. As we navigate through the bustling cities and unfamiliar landscape, we rely only on traditional tools like signages, but also a plethora of digital resources that enhance our journey. Consider the scenario of planning a trip to a new city. Instead of poring over paper maps and asking for the directions, we now turn the website, mobile apps, GPS navigation tools for assistance. Platforms like Google Maps provide us with comprehensive map, turn-by-turn directions, and real-time traffic updates, empowering us to chart our course effectively. Furthermore, these digital tools often pre-visit and post-visit assistance, allowing us to plan our itineraries in advance and revisit our favorite spots later. With just a few taps in our smartphones, we can explore points of interest, discover hidden gems, and ensure ourselves to the local culture. Text map, mobile apps, QR code complement traditional signages by providing dynamic, interactive experiences. For instance, scanning a QR code on a museum exhibit may unveil additional information or multimedia content, enriching our understanding and appreciation to the surrounding. Moreover, technology enables us to customize our wayfinding experience according to our preferences and interests. Further, we are seeking the quickest route to a destination, avoiding crowded area or discovering off the beaten path attention. Digital tools empower us to tailor our journey accordingly. Additionally, the integration of augmented reality and virtual reality technology further enhances the wayfinding process, offering immense experience and enhancing spatial awareness. In instance, technology serves as a powerful ally in our urban exploration, augmenting traditional navigation methods and enriching our wayfinding journey. By embracing the digital resources, we not only navigate our surrounding more efficiently but also gain deeper insight into the cities we visit to foster memories, experiences, and lasting impressions. With this, we go on the next, which is the principles of wayfinding. Taking considerations of these important factors, the placemaking, the signages and wayfinding, and technology, there are certain principles which needs to be considered while designing and planning a signage and wayfinding. First, how can we make the users to reduce the stress? Wayfinding system aims to make navigation stress-free by offering clear and concise guidelines. For examples, directional sign in shopping mall or airports are designed for easy understanding, helping user to find their way without confusion. Imagine navigating through an airport with a well-placed signage directing you to the baggage claim or boarding gate, reducing the stress of finding your way in a busy terminal. Next, enhance your satisfaction. Efficient route to diverse destinations contribute to the user satisfaction. For instance, interactive maps, mobile apps in an amusement park or a large campuses offer real-time updates and assist user in navigating comfortably. Think of using the mobile app in a theme park that guides you to the attractions with the shortest waiting time, enhancing your overall enjoyment in the park experience. Ensure efficient navigation. Wayfinding system assists user in finding the most efficient route and enriching destination, trail in national park or signages in hospital guide user efficiently, reducing the likelihood of getting lost and maintaining smooth traffic flow. Consider hiking on well-marked trail in national park and led you to a scenic viewpoint and facilitates without unnecessary problems. How to minimizing errors. Clear and consistent signage helps in minimizing errors in navigation, enhancing user experience. Color-coded path in urban pedestrian zones or intuitive signages in museum ensures the user easily to identify the route and point of interest, which reduces confusion and frustrations. Imagine visiting a museum with clear signage indicating different exhibits, making it easy to navigate and explore without missing any highlights. Memorable and clear. Wayfinding signages should be memorable and easy to understand. Iconic landmark and distinctive architecture feature serve as a memorable wayfinding aids, helping user navigate with ease. For instance, landmark like a Gateway of India in Mumbai or the Lotus Temple serve as a visual clues for navigation, guiding visitor to the key areas within the city. Consistent and specific. Wayfind and signages should be consistent in design and placement, featuring recognizable symbols or icons. Uniform signages across public parks or recreational areas ensures consistency and clarity for user exploring different sections, reducing confusions and improving navigation efficiently. Consider visitor in a public park and consistent signage indicating walking trails, picnic areas and restroom, making it easy to navigate the entire park. Enhance identity. Wayfinding design should always reflect the identity and characteristics of the environment, while simplifying navigation choices. Customize signages reflecting the brand identity of shopping districts and cultural landmark, reinforcing their unique personality and guides user effectively, enhancing the overall experience of the space. Think of exploring a vibrant market district with colorful signages and artwork that reflects the local culture and heritage, enhancing the sense of place and identity within the area. Providing visual maps. User maps are essential in large and complex environment to assist user in navigating directional points, decision points, and locating facilities. Interactive digital maps empower user to explore and plan their routes effectively, enhancing their sense of control and confidence in navigating the space. Imagine using a digital map app in a vast university campus that helps you to locate classrooms, libraries, dining areas with ease and making your academic journey more manageable. Universal understanding. Wayfinding and signages should employ on universal value languages. Visible languages should be understood by all users. Internationally recognized symbols and pictograms ensure clear communication and accessibility for diverse user groups, regardless of background or familiarity with the environment. Consider encountering symbols for the restroom or emergency exit that are universally understood. Make it easy for people of different culture and language to navigate public spaces easily. Catering to the diverse users. Design should consider needs of diverse user groups, ensuring inclusivity and accessibility to all. Tactile signages or audio clues accommodate user with disabilities, promoting equal access to navigation resources and enhance the overall usability of the environment. Think of the public transit station. While visiting, we can see the tactile signages and the audio announcement that assist visibly impaired passengers in navigating the station safely and independently. By addressing these principles and incorporating user-friendly solutions, wayfinding system can successfully guide user while enhancing the identity and accessibility of different spaces. Getting on to the next topic, which is signage effectiveness, hinges on special key parameters. Each play a critical role in ensuring that the signage effectively communicates its intended message. These parameters include visibility, legibility, conspicuity, and readability. Let's go on to the visibility part. Visibility is a critical aspect of signage, referring to its inherent features that allow observer to easily notice or identify it within its surroundings. It is not just about being seen, it's also being about clearly seen and distinguishably. Several factors influence the visibility of a sign, starting with its placement. Sign strategically positioned in a high traffic area or at the eye level are more likely to catch the attention of passerby. The size of the sign also plays a significant role. Larger signs tend to be more noticeable than smaller ones, especially from the distance. Distance from the observer is another key factor. Sign placed too far away may not be visible or legible, while those positioned too close can be overwhelming. But illumination is critical for visibility, particularly in low light conditions or at night. A well-lit sign stands out against its surrounding and ensures visibility even in dimly lit environment. Another factor, contrast. Contrast against the background is essential for making a sign stand out. The sign with high contrast, such as dark text on a light background or vice versa, is easily read from distance. The shape of the sign also contributes to its visibility. Distinguishable shape or design can attract attention and make the sign memorable. Pedestrian field of view and traffic speed are additional factors to consider. Sign placed within the natural line of sight of pedestrian or driver are more likely to be noticed. Simply, sign in area with slower moving traffic allows better visibility and comprehension. Environmental conditions can also affect visibility, like smoke, fog, or any other environmental atmospheric factors can unclear the signage visibility, making it less effective or conveying its message. Despite these challenges, a well-designed and strategically placed sign can still stand out and effectively communicate its intended message. For example, a brightly lit sign positioned prominently along a busy street is more likely to grab the attention of passerby compared to the smaller, less conspicuous sign tracked away at the corner. Let's talk about another factor, which is legibility. Legibility is also a physical attribute of a sign. It pertains to how easily the text and the symbols on a sign can be read and understood. This can be affected by various factors, including the clarity and size of the font, graphic and the pictogram types, contrast between the text and a background, and the observer's visual conditions and aging. Legibility is all about how easy it is to read and understand the text. Symbols on a sign. Think about when you are trying to read a sign from a distance while you are moving. If the letters are too small and the font is hard to make out, it can be really difficult to understand what the sign is saying. As you see, we have two variables here, which refers lighting variables. Another is the sign variables. Lighting variables refers and which includes internal contrast, sign luminance, lighting, whereas the sign variables includes text versus symbols, upper and mixed use fonts, stroke width, abbreviations, letter height, contrast, color spacing, letters and words, negative spaces, color and background. I would like to give you one good examples of how legibility is affected. While making a parking block, we were annotating the blocks and or the columns in ABCD form, numberings. But we realized that few letters are not that legible, or you can say they are confusing. Suppose writing I, O and Q. I get confused from I to 1, O to 0 and Q sometimes with 0 itself. So it is always advisable not to use these numbers. So if you ever visit any parking lot, do try to see if these letters have been used or not. Now, let's get into another point, which is readability. Readability is all about how easily you can understand what a sign is trying to tell you. It's like making sure that the words and the symbols on the sign are crystal clear and making sense to everyone who is looking at them. Let's take an example to understand this better. Imagine you are at a railway station in India. You see a sign that says train departure platform number 4. This sign is super readable because it tells you exactly what you need to know in a simple and clear way. You immediately understand that your train is leaving at platform number 4. Now, let's compare the another sign which is actually long and says that departure area of rail transport vehicle on platform number 4, maybe or a longer sentence. This sign is a bit confusing because it uses complicated language. Instead of saying train departure, it talks about rail transport vehicle, which might not be required and making the overall message unclear. So, the readability is like using simple and direct language to make sure everyone understands what the sign is saying without any confusion. Wherever it is finding your train platform at a station, locating a classroom in a college, and figuring out which way you have to go in a mall, sign and good readability makes it a life easier for everyone. Now, readability also have evolved the case or at which the message conveyed by the sign can be comprehended by the observer. It is about assuring that the words and symbol used in the sign make sense and can easily understand. For instance, a sign with straightforward language which is readable than one of the complex sign or ambiguous wordings. When working on sign, think about the font style, how big the letters are, the difference in the color between the letters and the background, how much space is there, how clear the message is, readability, which means how easy it is readable, how old are they well, do you think so? Let's see the written text at the slide. What do you think? Which the readability text is more readable? The first one. The last two words are not that readable. Since the text you have already seen, it is easy. But just think about the time when people don't know what it is written. It is something which is unique. In that case, readability becomes very difficult if some words which you are not familiar are being not that readable. Okay, so let's go on to the next topic, which is conspicuity. Conspicuity means something which stands out. That means your signage. How are you making it to stand out from the rest of the surroundings? Suppose you are running into a railway station. It's a crowded one where people are rushing to catch the trains. In such a busy place, it is critical and important information to easy to spot right away. This could include things like train schedule, platform numbers, and safety instructions. To achieve this, signs and display need to be placed in a visible spots. They can grab people's attention, even in the hustle and bustle conditions also. Factors like where the signs are placed, how often they appear, and how cluttered the area is can all affect how noticeable the sign is. By strategically positioning the sign and using the attention-grabbing features like bold colors, clear shapes, designers can ensure that the important information stand out from the chaos of a busy railway station. This helps travelers quickly find out the information they need, making their journey smooth and more efficient. Let's take an example. Imagine yourself in a railway station trying to find out which platform your train have to depart. In a crowded railway station with a lot of distractions, you went to the platform sign, which is really obvious that you can spot at right away. Now, you might use bright colors and unique shapes for these signs to make sure they catch your eyes' attentions. This way, you can easily find the information you need and get your train on time. Let's take another example. In a busy marketplace of a city, vendors selling various goods on the street, the shopper has the stall browsing its item of interest. In such a bustling environment, it is essential for vendor to make their stall conspicuous to attract customers. To achieve this, vendors often use bold signages, vibrant colors, and clear, large fonts to grab the attention of the passerby. They may also employ unique shapes, eye-catching designs to distinguish their stalls from the surroundings. By strategically positioning the signage at the eye level in the prominent locations, vendors ensure that their stall stands out among the others. Let's take another example. Imagine you're walking on a crowded marketplace where you have seen a lot of items hanging through the different stalls. How you identify which stall you have to go? It is the important object, it is most conspicuous items you look into. In such a way, the conspicuousness of a signage plays a very important role. If you see, there are two images in your presentation. It is the same station with the signage placements in a conspicuous form and a cluttered way. Which one do you prefer? Preferably with the second one. Because in the first image, if you see, there are a lot of signages. Many are low-heighted, ceiling-mounted. Some are the advertisement panels, which are not that important. What is important is the information that the travelers need at first glance. So in the second image, if you see carefully, you can find these informations very properly arranged and border marked, highlighted, which makes the signages much more conspicuous than the first one. Now, let's go into our next topic, which is signages and wayfinding and colors. The strategic use of colors in signage design not only enhances visibility and legibility, but also influence emotional responses. In reinforcing the brand identity, understanding the relationship between the colors and signages is critical for creating intuitive, engaging, and memorable user experience. Let's understand what is a color psychology. Understanding color psychology involves exploring how color influences human emotions, their behavior, and their perceptions. It delves into the significance of different hues in design, examining how they invoke specific responses from individuals. From warm tones like red, orange, to the cool tones like blues and greens. This way, color shapes our emotions and interactions with the world around us. Enhancing visibility and legibility. Enhancing visibility and legibility is crucial in signage design, especially complex environment. These aspects focus on the use of color contrast and making signage stand out to ensure that the text and symbols are easily readable. even from the distance. By optimizing the color, combination and contrast, designer or you can maximize the effectiveness of signage in guiding and informing users, ultimately enhancing the overall user experience. How it creates the visual hierarchy. Creating visual hierarchy within signage system involves strategically using colors to prioritize important information, guiding users' attention by employing bold colors for primary messages and subdued color for the secondary information. Designer can organize information in a clear and intuitive manner, similarly navigation and enhancing the user experiences. Invoking emotions responses. Invoking emotional responses through a color is a powerful tool in design. This aspect explore how different color can evoke specific emotions and feeling in individuals. From the energetic passion of red to the calmness of blue. Understanding the emotions impact of color enables us to create environment and experience that resonate with the user on a deeper level, fostering engagement and connections. Cultural considerations. Cultural considerations highlight the importance of understanding how cultural norms and traditions influence perceptions of colors. This aspect examines how meaning and association attributed to color vary across different cultures, enhancing the need of cultural sensitivity in signage design. By considering cultural context and preferences, designer can create inclusive and culturally relevant signage solutions that resonate with diverse audience. Promote by brand identity. Through colors is integral to establish brand recognition. This aspect explores how organizations use consistent color palettes across signages and branding materials to reinforce their identity and create a memorable impression on users. By effectively using colors to convey brand values and personality, organizations can strengthen their visual identity and connect with their target audience. Accessibility and inclusivity. Accessibility and inclusivity in signage design involves creating solutions that are accessible to all the individuals, including those with the disabled. This aspect examines how designers assure color accessibility by incorporating high contrast combinations and alternative clues. By adhering to the accessibility guidelines and standards, designers can create inclusive environment that caters to the diverse need of all the users. We will be going deeper in the accessibility part, where we will be going through the aspects of color selections and physical modalities what the signage requires. Now, as you know, our brain cannot really handle remembering more than 5 colors at once. So, when we are creating themes or sub-themes, it is best to keep things simple and avoid using too many colors. Also, it is recommended that not to use the light color on light background or a dark color text dark background, which we call as a word color contrast. It is a critical aspect of signage design, significantly impacting its effectiveness in conveying the information to the viewer. Adequate color contrast ensures that the text and the symbols stand out clearly against the background, enhance readability and visibility. Strong contrast between the text and background color allows signage to be easily legible. Even from a distance, under challenging light conditions. This is particularly important for ensuring accessibility, as it enables individuals with the visual impairment or the color vision deficiencies to access and understand the information presented on the signage. Moreover, proper color contrast contributes to the brand recognition and identity, as consistent use of the color helps to reinforce the brand recall and association. So, let's understand what is a light reflecting value. You can see the formula here, which is very effective for calculating the contrast. This can be easily calculated by comparing light reflecting value of lighter and darker area. There are various tools in the market which you can use for identifying the contrast of of the background to the text used. I am using here one which is ASI signages. You can even Google it and do it by yourself. Let's take a look. Here, if you see, I have taken yellow color. I have used this yellow text which is here, indicating here, and brown background. So, the color contrast it has calculated is coming to 58%, whereas the value we require should be more than 70%. Let's take another example where we are using the white color, which is this one, for a text, and brown as a background. You can see here the ivory as well as the brown. So, again the contrast is coming to 66%. Let's take a last example. Here, if you see, the text we have chosen is yellow, which is lemon, and the background we have chosen is black, which is showing here. Check the contrast level. It is coming to 94%, which is way high than the values we received in the previous two. So, what do you think? Which is better? Of course, the last one. Okay, now let's delve into the practical example to illustrate the concept further, such as the color palette or a theme implemented in John F. Kennedy Airport. The example demonstrates how the strategic use of color can effectively communicate information to the traveler. For instance, here if you see, they have used the yellow color here for flying the gate, that means the departure passengers, the black for the airport services, which is restrooms, elevators, telephone booths, the facilities which are at the station, at the airports, and green specifically for arrival, that is the parking, the ground transportation, etc. This is one of the very effective use of colors in signages, which actually makes people think and understand and do the association that what type of a color they need to follow. If they are the arrival passengers, they will immediately follow all the green color signages. This is something which is intuitive due to the use of colors. Now, let's go to the next topic, which is color selection in safety signages. Color selection in safety signages is based on not on the aesthetic conditions, but certain zonal regulations, which plays a critical role in effectively communicating messages aimed to ensure safety of individuals in various environments. International standards I have used, which is ISO 3864, which plays a pivotal role in the domain of establishing parameters of the design of safety signs, including precise color specifications. These standards ensure consistency and uniformity in safety signages designs in global scale, facilitating clear communication of critical information regardless of language and cultural differences. By adhering to these standards, organization and facilities can enhance safety protocols, mitigate risk by employing color-coded signage systems that are universally understood and recognizable in emergency situations. For example, here the red diagonal cross stands for the prohibition. The example could be the no smoking. The white background with the blue, which offers a mandatory instruction, that is wear protection glasses while visiting a site, construction site. The third is the yellow, which is a warning or caution, which is like flammable materials or any other information accordingly, or the safety condition, which is a green. You must have seen these for the fire and life safety signages. Red signifying the danger, so fire extinguisher sign, and any other important information which can be written on the white background, which is supplementary information. Now let's talk about the typography. Typography plays a critical role in signages and wayfinding design. It offers readability, clarity, and overall effectiveness of communication. Typography conveys a tone, mood, and blend of identity. It enhances legibility and comprehension, especially in the busy environment. It also guides user and helps them to navigate through spaces seamlessly. Let's talk about the best practices which is in place. Using sans serif fonts for readability, especially in smaller sizes. Now you will wondering, what is this sans serif? If you see on the screen, these things, open the Times New Roman font, you might find these edges, which we call it as the serifs. The absence of this is termed as sans serif. That's why the fonts like Helvetica, Arial, Roboto, Futura, Gilsens, Clearviews, and Fugitive. They are sans serif fonts and are very frequently being used in typography. Let's also talk about what is this kerning. Kerning is actually the spaces between the two letters. If you see on the right side, what do you think, what is a kerning here? That actually is very distracting in case of signages, because sometimes they merge two letters and it is very difficult for from far and may create confusion to the viewer. Let's take one example. What do you think the typography I have used on this PPT? When you will be start doing the signages and wayfinding designs, you might become expert in just seeing the font and recognize the font with this just written form itself. See and tell. It is actually the Calibri. Okay. So this was it for this session. Now let's go into the summary part of it. What we have learned in today's session. So we talked about the signage tools, where we discuss about the physical tools, what is the placemaking, what is the technical tools, how can the technical advancement, the tools can enhance the overall journey of a user. We need to incorporate them. Then we also discuss that the principles of wayfinding, what are the do's and what are the don'ts, which is important in before you design any signage and wayfinding project. Then we also talked about the effectiveness in the form of visibility, how visible the signage is, legibility, how legible signage is, the readability, am I able to read it or not, and conspicuity, is my signage standing out, am I able to make out the best and most important information from overall crowd. Then we also talked about the colors. Colors play an important role as psychology point of view. They make impact on human mind, as red stands for warm, blue or green stands for cool colors. We also understand that how colors have been used in previous projects, especially we took the example of John F. Kennedy Airport, where each color has been associated with different user doing the different journey. If it was a arrival passenger, they used to have the follow different kind of colors. The departing passengers, they were following different colors, whereas the people in the building who were using the facilities on the airport, they were following different colors. There are various airports who use this color combinations, and there are various projects where we use the colors for zoning. Since we can recognize these colors very easily, and that too, we also studied that remembering 5 colors is easy, but beyond that it becomes very difficult. Then we discuss about color contrast and finishes. Color contrast is very important, as we read that it is, if the contrast is less than 70%, the light reflecting value, it becomes difficult to recognize. If it becomes difficult to read the signage from very far. The finishes, it has to be matte, it need not to be so glossy, so that it can affect and it can reflect the light, which maybe create a confusion or discomforting. Maybe just one example would be the coach numbers at the railway station, seeing it from very far. Next, we studied about color selection and safety signages. In safety signages, based on this code, we have certain color allocated, be it a prohibited signage, be it a hazardous signages. We need to select carefully, since they are internationally recognized and are applicable to most of the international as well as the local codes. Lastly, we discuss about the signage typography. Typography is something which is the font, how visible it is, which font it is, list of fonts which is very visible or normally being used, like Helvetica, Universe, Verdana, Calibri, and the fonts which have the serifs sometimes create confusions. Or what about their kerning? How mix this, the signage, the typography would be if there is a less space which is less than 10% in the kerning. So, this we covered all the summary of this session. Here are some references which you can refer for further readings, you can say. And on this note, we'll just finish this. I hope you have learnt many things which you can incorporate in while you will be designing signages. So, that is it from my side. Thank you.
I am A.K. Sharma and I am Professor of Sociology at IIT Kanpur. The question I am going to address is what is urbanization? Urbanization is essentially the process of population concentration, which means that if more people start living in a smaller number of places, or if the distribution of population becomes more unequal, like more people living in places like Bombay, Calcutta, Mexico, then we say that the urbanization is taking place. Essentially, it means increase in percentage of population living in areas or localities which are defined as urban. Urbanization is a new phenomenon, of course, a post-industrial phenomenon. About 200 years ago, hardly 5% population of the world lived in urban areas, and today more than 50% population of the world is living in urban areas or localities which are classified as urban. You will be happy to know that according to 2011 census of India, in our own country for the first time, increase in the urban population has been greater than the increase in the rural population, though India is not so urban as the developed countries, and about 31% population of India only is living in urban areas. We can believe that in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years time, India will also be more urban, at least more urban than what it is. It may not be 80%, but certainly it will be 35% or 40%. Now, how is this urban locality defined? Because this definition of locality as urban or rural is crucial to measure level of urbanization. I will give you definition of our own country. In Indian census, an urban locality is defined in two ways. There are statutory towns and there are census towns. All places with municipality, municipal corporation, cantonment or notified town area committees are called urban. This is statutory definition. According to demographic definition, there are three main criteria. If a locality has more than 5,000 people or 75% of male labor force is engaged in non-agricultural activities, or the density of population is 400 per square kilometer or 1000 per square mile, then we say that the locality may be classified as urban. There are many other additions to this definition. Now, we have the concept of urban agglomeration and many other things, but essentially this is how urban population is defined in India. And as I said that urbanization is associated with economic development and industrialization, same is the case with India. About 100 years ago in India, only 11% people were living in urban areas. Today 31% are living in urban areas, and This is obviously linked with economic development of the country, growth of per capita income and industrialization. I remember that in one 5-year plan it was mentioned that today this urban population can grow by way of natural increase of births minus deaths in the urban areas itself or through rural to urban migration. Today nearly 60% contribution to growth of urban population is due to rural to urban migration, and this is going to increase. This is essentially what urbanization means. Urbanization means growth of population in localities defined as urban in relation to population of localities defined as rural, and I have given you Indian definition. Thank you very much.